Okay, I get it. Those on the building side of IT, whether that's web development, software development, or app development, tend to all hate project management, especially if they're solopreneurs or one-person digital agencies. And why is that? Why do they think that they hate project management? Well, some people believe project management's not billable, that the tools that come along with project management are overkill for the types of projects that they do, that when you're in a feast or famine cash flow situation, you have to start building before you're done planning because you need the income. You wear so many hats that you don't have time to do the project management. And since you're working by yourself, why do you need to do all that planning and make elaborate project plans and deliverables when it's just you? And there's one other big reason we all tend to hate project management, and I'll tell you about that at the end. So be sure to stick around if you want to hear about that one. So if any of that sounds like you, I'm here to tell you that you've been misguided, because project management tasks are indeed billable when you know how to do it the right way. You don't need these fancy tools that you get slapped with on the internet every day. There are much more simple and old school ways to keep your project on track. When you think you don't have enough time to do the planning because you need to get building because you have a cash flow issue, remember this quote from Abraham Lincoln, who said, "If you give me a day to chop down a tree, I'll spend the first 6 hours sharpening the axe." Because when you do the proper planning, the rest of it goes so much easier. And then when it comes to wearing multiple hats, all the roles you fill, developer, tester, SEO expert, all of those things become much, much easier when you do the proper planning. And when you're working by yourself, why should you do these project plans and why should you keep track of projects? Well, there's two big reasons. One is you need to make sure that you're actually being profitable, because if you don't keep track of how much time you're actually spending against what you expected to spend when you created the estimate, you're likely losing a large part of your return on your investment. And the other reason is continuous improvement. And this is what people fail to realize so often. By examining past projects and developing best practices from lessons learned, you're going to get better. Your projects are going to be more streamlined, and you're going to be able to attract higher paying clients. And that's why I created this video. You need these fundamentals in order to understand everything else I'm going to teach you and how to hold on to more of your profit and then streamline everything with AI. So let's jump in. So how does project management save you money? Project management saves you money because it prevents budget overruns and scope creep. It eliminates waste and rework, optimizes resource allocation, it reduces risk-related costs, and seriously speeds up the time to market. The other benefits of effective project management include setting client expectations more effectively. Your projects become more predictable. You retain the profit margin that you planned on. You stay within the budget. You get done on time. You avoid scope creep, as I mentioned before, and you can resolve roadblocks and delays more quickly and easily. But what exactly is a project? We think we know this, but here's the definition of a project that most experts use. It's any endeavor that has beginning and end at a stated level of performance at a certain budget with a specific outcome. So let me say that again. A project has a beginning and an end. It has a stated level of performance. It has a certain budget and a specific outcome. The four elements of a project are time, cost, scope, and resources. Now, you'll often see this listed as time, scope, and cost, but you have to add the resources in there too. Because you know what clients care most about when they're looking at a proposal? Everyone thinks that they go right for the solution, and that's not the answer. They spend most time reviewing the cost and the timeline because that really is what matters most to them. We tend to focus on the end product and the solution. They want to know how much is it going to cost and how long is it going to take, especially your larger, higher paying clients. So what is project success? All the experts agree that project success means that you got done on time, within budget, with an end product that meets the client's business requirements. And then we've added without sacrificing profit. So what are the 7 most common reasons that projects fail? First is unrealistic or incorrect client expectations. If your client doesn't understand how website projects work, that's your fault. The second reason that projects fail is inadequate estimating. There are so many times we grab a number out of the sky thinking that sounds about right, and then we add a pad to it because that could cover anything I hadn't thought of yet. And that's a terrible way to estimate a project, and it will certainly cause your project to fail. In most cases, you're going to not realize that planned profit margin. The third reason projects fail is poorly done business requirements. Not the functional requirements, but the business requirements. What is the problem that the client is trying to solve? If you don't have that nailed down, it's going to be difficult to meet your client's needs with the end product. Another reason projects fail, if we're using that without sacrificing profit part of our success statement, then the next reason is not getting paid for all you do. Sort of the same as scope creep, but doing things for free is never fun. And then the next one, of course, is scope creep. That causes projects to fail more than any other reason. The 6th reason that projects fail is content bottlenecks. In web design, we're often waiting on the client to provide the content, and that causes a bottleneck and delays in your project. So you don't get done on time. And the last reason is no risk mitigation plan. There are things that you know are likely going to happen, like the client not getting the content to you on time, and you need to plan for that risk. If that happens, what are you going to do? So if there's a team member that's expecting a baby soon, what are your plans if that happens early? But the good news is that all 7 of those reasons can be addressed with project management. It's easier than you think, and it's actually more fun than you think now that we have AI. So what exactly is project management? Project management says that if you control the timeline, the scope, the cost, the resources, you will end up with a quality product. And if any of the details of those change, then it likely impacts one or more of the other elements of the project. Now let's talk about the project lifecycle. The project lifecycle has certain stages, and it also has certain phases. Now the stages are the same. It does not matter what kind of project it is. And those are initiation, planning, execution, and closing. Pretty simple, but that translates into project phases. Now, the project phases that we use in our training, there are 5 of them, although they're numbered from 0 to 4. The reason that we call our first phase 0 is because that is our proposal preparation phase. And if it does not become a project, then we don't need the other phases. So we don't call it a project until it gets to phase 1. For us, phase 1 is project definition. That's where we're going to do the deep dive discovery, get all the details down, and then re-estimate at the end of that phase to make sure that we've still got everything covered under our initial estimate. Phase 2 is design and preparation, and that's where you're putting all the pieces together, not together, where you're putting all the pieces in place so that you can hit the ground running when you get to the next phase, which is development and testing. And so many people forget that last part with the testing. And then the final phase, of course, is deployment and, if applicable, training. Those are the phases that we teach, but you may break yours down differently. Real quick, I wanted to remind you guys that we're currently working on the PM for Profit website, which is the new and much improved version of the WP Project Managers Academy, and where we'll soon be launching our new course on project planning with AI, with the secondary goal of making managing website projects fun again. We're trimming the fluff and making it easier for you to find the solution you're looking for, and showing you how to cut your project planning time in half with AI. No more going through a course video by video looking for the solution that you need. We're rolling it out bit by bit, much of it free, on our website and also here on YouTube. So if you want to make sure that you don't miss anything, hit the subscribe button, or you can go over to our website, the link is below this video, and sign up for our PM for Profit newsletter, where each week we send out a newsletter with a little bit of WordPress news, a little bit of industry news, a lot of AI news, and some PM for profit tips and tricks, along with an invitation to join our Friday chat on Zoom. Okay, let's get back to the training. Now, let me tell you this. So many people think that they can't be a project manager because they're unorganized or they hate the tedious, busy work. But let me just tell you that you already are a project manager. If you ever have completed a project that has a beginning and an end, you spent money on it, you did some planning, and you got a specific result, you're a project manager. Even a trip to the grocery store is like a project. And in a future video, I'm going to lay that out for you because I think it really clarifies the situation. So what does an effective project manager do on a project? Okay, so you're the developer, you're the designer, but you're also the project manager. What are the things that you need to do on that project? I'm just going to read them off the page. Define the scope, set proper expectations, establish and manage the budget, establish and manage the timeline, position the client as part of the team. That's very important. Build the plan, assign tasks, manage change, hand over the project, and document the project. And if you manage teams, there are a couple of other characteristics of an effective project manager, but we won't go into that right now. Now, the other project management roles and responsibilities include the project sponsor, the business analyst, the website environment manager, the content developer and manager, website designer, website developer, the SEO analyst, and testers. Now, if you're a solopreneur or a single-person digital agency, you are likely filling all of those roles. And that comes in really handy when you're showing the client what building a website really involves, so they will respect what you do. So when it comes to project management, there are 6 essential principles that you need to understand. They are: define the job in detail with a content-first approach. Get the right resources involved. Break the job down. Estimate the time and cost often. Establish and stick to a change procedure. And agree on acceptance criteria. There are also 8 essential processes that you need to have established and follow. And they are processes for the proposal, communication/client management, requirements, issues and risk, change management, acceptance management, project closure, and continuous improvement. Okay, so I know that was really, really high level and a lot of information. But let me tell you the final reason that people like us tend to hate project management. It's because all the software and methodologies regarding project management are designed for enterprise level companies, large teams, and much of it doesn't apply to us because our clients are small, our projects are small, and we don't need all those bells and whistles. The training that I'm providing here on this channel and on the PM for Profit website is the exact opposite of that. We have designed everything specifically for website developers and made it easy and way more fun. Now, I do have a free download over on my website where you can get a little more detail about all of these topics that I covered in this video, so you can fully understand that and be prepared for when we release our flagship course, Project Planning with AI. Now, I am going to release a free module on that in the next few days or weeks. So you really need this foundation so that you can understand and use that and get the most out of it. Okay, let's recap for a minute. Solo developers and small agencies say that project management is the #1 reason that they get burned out, go back to corporate work, or fail to scale their business. The tools and methodologies currently designed for corporate entities actively work against the reality of freelance work like we do, because we have unpredictable workflows. We work with direct client relationships. We have limited resources and we need to be profitable on every single project. So the solution isn't more complex systems. It's not listening to those gurus and all the people touting this tool or that tool and finding the minimum viable project management methodology that works for you. That one that keeps clients happy, projects profitable, and helps you retain your sanity. The developers and agencies that thrive have learned to strip project management down to the essence of what needs doing, when it's due, and how much you're going to get paid for it. And that's what we're teaching you here at PM for Profit. So be sure to go over to the website. The link is below this video and get that free download and read a little bit more about all of the topics that I just taught you about in this video. That is the foundational information you need to truly succeed with project management. Hey, listen, if this video helped you at all, you've probably got a colleague that you're thinking, this would help them too. So the best thing you can do is give this video a little like and share it with your colleagues. That will ensure that even more people can benefit from the things we're sharing with you.